Hi, welcome back. You're still tuned into Midcap Radar on CNBC-TV18. The Midcap side of things, they are still not doing so well. So just watch out for that. Nifty has fallen further from the top. So it is up 103 points as we speak. But as we said, the stock in focus today is security major SIS. Rituraj Sinha, the managing director of the company, joins us now to discuss the business outlook and the demand scenario as well. Rituraj, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us. Before I speak specific numbers, I just wanted to understand how the international business is doing, because in the quarter gone by, revenues are largely flat in the international business. Of course, the COVID effect is something that tapered down in coming quarters. What is the outlook here? Has there been a pickup?
It's a pleasure to be here. I think quick update on the international side. As you know, international business now contributes less than 50% of our overall business. In the last 2 quarters, we have seen a few changes. Number one, the COVID-related temporary work has literally ceased now. So the high margin temporary contracts are out. And the routine contracts that had been downsized, there were lesser manpower being employed, they are back up. So business is actually reverting back to pre-COVID situation. One major development that has happened, very favorably for us, is that the Australian environment has seen the highest minimum wage increase in the last 10 years. So the Australian government had gone ahead with a massive minimum wage increase, which will augur very well for us once the full price revision happens in the next 1 or 2 quarters. But I think this is great news, for us.
Rituraj, can you explain why the higher wage revision which took place in Australia is beneficial? Because we would understand that you have a lot of staff in Australia for which you would now have to dole out higher wages, which explains the drop that we've seen in your international securities margins.
Hi, Rima. I think our contracts are basically have inbuilt rise and fall clauses. So as minimum wage goes up, we basically pass that through into our invoices. There is no renegotiation of contract as such. It's simply a pass through. But yes, there is a little bit of a catch up because we have to start paying minimum wages upfront. Customers take a few months to actually process that. They pay us arrears, and the new price becomes effective going forward. So there will be a little bit of catch up impact that you might see in the next 1 or 2 quarters. But on a steady state basis, this is fantastic news for us because it does 3 things. Number one, the revenue goes up as a result of minimum wage increase. Number 2, we have a corresponding impact on the EBITDA. EBITDA in dollar value goes up. And number 3, higher wages result in better retention of manpower, lesser shortages, which actually is good for operations and business continuity. So I think it's overall very good news for us.
Okay, so you expect margins to improve then in the international business as well. By when? Because you had indicated that gross margins are constant, they are improving, and that's the reason you expect margins to scale back to that 5.5% to 6% level. But by when do you expect that?
No, so let me correct you here. The international business pre-COVID was operating on a 4.5% margin. International business will settle around the 4.5% margin level now as well. That should happen in the next 1 or 2 quarters. Overall, SIS consolidated was ballpark 5.5-6% EBITDA margin. And we hope that we will settle around 5.5-6% in the next 1 or 2
Yes, I was asking you about the consolidated number only, and that is what I wanted to know. You will settle around 5.5 to 6%, but by when do you expect it? By, because there were a lot of headwinds, but what's happening now there?
No, I think I can tell you that the good news is that on the India business side, which is now more than 55, close to 60% of our overall revenues, you will see very robust growth in security and FM. Last quarter as well in Q1, we reported very strong numbers for FM business. This quarter, it's, the last 3 months have been very strong on the growth side. and also you will see significant margin improvement because as revenue goes back up, the costs are, getting distributed, and therefore the margins are showing uptake both in security in India and in FM in India marginally. So overall, I think we are moving in the direction that we had indicated earlier. India business is definitely going to show a margin uptake.
Okay, so you expect an improvement in the India Security Solutions business, but do you think you could end FY23, that's the March quarter, with consolidated EBITDA margins more than 5.5%?
That's the goal. Okay. I think Q4 is the critical quarter we are pushing for, and before we get into the next financial year, we want to get into a good base and work from there. But as of now, I think we are pretty much on track to get into that 5.5-6% zone by the fourth quarter of the year, especially on the back of India business improving its margin profile, and number two, international business getting this massive minimum wage hike, which should be able to be passed through to customers in terms of price revisions in the next 1 or 2 quarters. Okay. So Q4 definitely.
Rituraj, last question before we let you go, since you are talking about India business looking up, what is the average deal size or the current monthly run rate? It has been increasing over quarters. So what is it looking like now?
I think I would abstain from sharing that number, but we are, I will be disclosing that when we get into the results season. But we are.
But is it better than Q1? If you can qualitatively tell us that.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So
we are run rating significantly better than in the first quarter, especially in India.
Okay. All right. So we take your word and we'll speak to you again when your earnings are out. Thanks a lot for joining us today and taking us through what's happening as far as the international and the domestic business of SIS is concerned. That's the word coming in from the company. But for now, we'll slip into a short break. But before we do that, here's some great news for investors. You can now track US market actions real time on Money Control. Log on to Money Control website or app and stay informed about all that matters in global markets.